Yeah, I think we're
Tonight is Booker.
rolling. No, tonight is Baker.
Baker's. God dang it. Cool. I can write that down here in a minute. Well, shall we begin?
Let's do it.
Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Over here next to me is Mr. W2. How do you do?
Doing pretty good.
You're having a little bit of technical difficulties here with the the
Yeah,
camera,
well,
but
you know.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, technology and this connected to this, connected to that, and
Yeah. I have a lot of problems with smartphones. As smart as they are, they sure are fucking dumb. Drives me fucking nuts. Well, I'm digging so far. I'm digging the new video format.
Yeah.
We've had good feedback. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of worry because our buddy Chandler, like you said, he's like, oh no, you guys are going all video. Does that mean that you're going to be no audio? No audio.
Yeah.
It's like, no, absolutely not. It's still getting split up on all your favorite, audio only podcast apps of choice, and we'll always be on there. But this, the idea of going into YouTube was to help broaden the audience, and that way everybody gets to see that we have beautiful made-for-radio faces, and we're very excited to share that with you. Plus, you can also see shirts and things that we're wearing. Like over here, he's wearing one of our band shirts here, the work shirt.
Yeah, well, so far at least,
I've
I've just kind of decided that the button-up shirt, so I have something to actually clip to instead of trying to fold over. And
that makes sense.
And
me, I'm still rocking the hoodie. This might sound weird with the microphone. Hang on, let me just unclip it real quick. This is one of the very few Burn the Gates hoodies that we have.
I think there's only one left.
Oh, well, maybe by the time this video comes out, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
But if you want to know, go to burnthegates.com and check out the shop. It's very, very cool stuff in there. Maybe even buy some tickets to an upcoming show. But we're not here to talk about Burn the Gates. We're here to savor the burn.
And drink some whiskey.
Whiskey with a capital. So tonight we have a mildly controversial whiskey brought to us by Baker's.
Yeah.
Right over here behind us. And
it wouldn't be a Savor the Burn podcast if we didn't figure out a way to mention
Jim Beam.
So therefore, tonight we're drinking Baker's, which is the cousin of Jim Beam himself.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so far you've told me it's 107 proof, and it's at it was aged like right at 8.5 years.
So this is the Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It is a single barrel offering.
Perfect.
Which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
They proof it down to 107.
All right.
And from our review and tasting, as we got into the Weller Antique 107, we became very quickly fond of 107 as a proof.
Now, there's a huge difference between Weller products and Jim Beam products.
Absolutely.
I expect that completely. I have no thoughts in my mind that this is going to be anything like that Antique 107. Possibly the best bourbon.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've ever had.
I've got high expectations for this.
I do too.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on here. A lot to unpack and a lot to really digest on this one. And I got a few things we'll jump into and read through and all that. But what I really kind of find interesting about this is, most whiskeys either A, have no age statement, the NAS, because they're blended with a lot of different things. According to law, if you put an age statement on it, it has to be the youngest blend of everything that's in there. And so a lot of distilleries opt to go no age statement
Mm-hmm.
because not because they're necessarily hiding anything, but just because it's just unfair because they've got a lot of different things going into it.
Yeah, their master blender is going to take some of the 8 years, some of the 2 year,
Some of the 15-year.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be all over the place.
whatever makes the best bottle that they think they can provide. That's what they're going to do.
Right. And then you have your bottles that actually have an age statement, whether that be a 10-year or 15-year or even, bottled in bond
Yeah.
is 4-year minimum on that. This is the Baker 7, is what it's called. And what I find really interesting about this is the 7 stands for minimum of 7 years.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in their formula, in their experiment, discovery, R&D, and to figuring out what this juice entails, 7 years is kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah.
That's.
I think we talked about the Jim Beam Extra aged is either 7 or 8
Yeah,
years.
Bland's,
I believe it's 7.
Bland's is said to be somewhere between 6 and 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually have it printed on here, minimum 7 years. But then you get up to the band on this, and with this being a single barrel, it has a lot of extra information on there, and right on the band, it's got the date it was bottled. Date it was barreled. This was barreled in November 2014. The age of this is 8 years 6 months, and like the Booker's goes that step farther. They tell you the year, they tell you the month, they tell you the day. If I remember correctly, the last Booker's we did was something like 8 years 2 months 2 days or something along those lines. But then you go over to the other side, and then they also have the serial number for the bottle, and then they have the what warehouse it was in, and the proof number, which is 107 on that. So it's got a lot of great information on it. It's got the little B in the middle of it. The topper on this is a large aluminum topper, and I'm going to hold that up. Hopefully that'll come through. I don't remember exactly. There's either like 5 or 7 different toppers, so it's like a crop of the design of the brand with the B, the 107 proof, the single barrel, and so they've got all these different variations. And so the idea would be that you would want to collect them. And I mean, if
Somebody like me would like to collect them.
if this is half as good as I'm hoping it's going to, maybe I have to. It's hard to find Kansas City, and so I stumbled upon it at Bubbles, which is up in Parkville, right off of 435. They've got a new store up there, great allocation room with a lot of gems in there. And one day when I was up there, this just happened to be there, and the price was right. And
Yeah, the price is not always right. We've done a little bit of hunting together, and we found some bottles that were just, that's a funky shaped cork.
is that real cork or is that a composite?
It looks composite to me.
I'm only questioning it. Yeah, I don't know.
Looks like a pacifier.
Well,
Or something worse. I'll just leave it at that. Family show.
I mean, maybe it's somebody's mother's milk.
It might be ours very soon. Well, who knows? Or especially mine. I don't know. When it comes to Jim Beam, so far, mother's milk for me. What is that? What is mother's milk? What does mother's milk mean to Carlo? It's not the greatest thing ever. It feels like home.
It's what he grew up with. It feels like home. Yep.
Okay. Well, I grew up with some nasty shit.
Comfort food.
Like
comfort.
Canadian Mist and Crown Royal and Michelob. Actually, there was a Michelob beer. It was Michelob Dark, I think is what it was. It wasn't bad at all from what I remember. But I was like 12.
So MSRP on this one is $64. It's just hard. Yeah, it's hard to find. It is not something that is going to be in every liquor store.
So if you find it, don't expect to pay $64 for it.
I mean, and that's actually I think what I paid for it up at Bubbles. It's interesting. This says I'm going to read a little bit of this from
bottle.
Baker's True Blue American Bourbon, fit for cognac lovers. I think that's interesting.
Cognac lovers.
Baker's Bourbon is named after Baker Beam, the grand nephew of Jim Beam himself. So it comes at no surprise that Baker's Bourbon is a subsidiary of Beam Suntory. It is one of their 4 small batch series bourbons, all of which are highly rated, delicious, and pack a unique character. If you meet other bourbon lovers at a tasting, it is not uncommon to hear Baker's described as bourbon for cognac lovers. This is not surprising since it has a smooth, sophisticated flavor profile and a creamy texture that really stands out. While some bourbons taste like a beefy day working, that's a funny way to say that. Beefy day working in a lumber yard,
Oof.
Baker stands out as a firm-handed dinner jacket sipper. It's the self-made entrepreneur who moves seamlessly from his crew on the production floor to attending the opera, where no one questions the drink in his hand.
I think that's the way it should be. Nobody should question the drink in somebody's hand because, I mean, dig what you fucking dig.
Yeah.
Dig what you dig. You know, I think Corey Taylor said that best.
This mahogany colored dram is aged for 7 years and comes out of the bottle at 53.5% ABV. It's 107 proof if you're paying attention.
And you better be paying attention.
The strength fits the dram like a glove, but it does go well with some ice. That just makes no sense. Whatever. I didn't write it.
It's all right.
Don't overthink it. I'm not going to. Pour yourself a drink, take a second to steel yourself, and then cast your calm gaze upon the envious eyes of all the wannabes and pretenders at the party. Your party.
On the nose, it's loaded with caramel.
Yeah. Yeah, lots and lots of caramel
There's corn.
on this one.
To me, I think that there's corn. You're not.
Can't help it. Gotta throw that in there.
Something else in there. Something that does not belong in there. Like, I want to say celery, but that's not it.
The notes here say banana, and I kind of agree with that. Actually, it says banana and papaya.
Maybe like a banana toffee. Definitely
Yep.
not banana bread.
A lot of vanilla.
Banana bread.
Banana bread.
Yeah, it's incredible. You said you smelled the banana, or
I do smell some banana.
it may be. I don't know, man. There's something on there. It just smells creamy.
Mm-hmm.
Like vanilla. There we go. There we go. You know, I've heard to expect like a whole bunch of oak, but I don't smell any oak on the nose. So maybe I'm gonna say like vanilla pudding.
I would go with that.
Yeah. So no oak. Not to me. Are you picking up any oak?
Nope.
I'm not either. Anyway,
And maybe that's why they say it's the bourbon of cognac lovers.
it's got great legs.
Yep.
I don't know if that really is mahogany, but
That's a dark color.
it is a dark color.
Yeah.
And if it's a bourbon, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bourbon, there's no artificial colors, no,
Right.
no artificial flavorings or sweeteners in there. I'm ready to get it on the palate.
There's the oak, though.
Just a touch.
Nice peppery, kind of a bite to it.
Yeah. So maybe they had some rye in the mash bill.
Mm-hmm.
There's like maybe pecan or
I
walnut.
just read that pecan praline.
Oh shit. Silky texture is a great way to put that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It says here in your show notes or your show notes. It says here in your
Show notes.
flavor taste palette notes, silky texture with pecan praline, more vanilla, baking spices, a dash of almond, and leather.
Yep.
Leather is something for me that hardly ever registers. It's like tobacco. Mm-hmm. It hardly ever registers on my palate.
What was it that we tasted not too long ago that on one of the tasting notes that had dusty warehouse floor or something like that? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was definitely something.
It's like, ugh. Is that something you want as a tasting profile?
No, I wouldn't think so. Because I work in a dusty warehouse. I am not drinking anything that has made contact with that floor.
Do you go around licking the floors at work?
No, you know what? No, I do not.
Not even once, just to say, hey, I did it.
That's a memory I choose not to participate in. That's a no thank you for me.
This is good.
Yeah, what was it? Pecan?
And not to jump ahead
walnut.
any, but I am very, very excited to mix this up in our cocktail.
Yeah.
This is gonna go really, really well.
And this is a manufacturer-specific cocktail.
It is.
You went to their page and you found it. Very cool. I'm looking forward to that too. And I mean, Jim Beam, man.
Jim Beam.
It's like this is. I'd have to do a side by side with the Bookers.
Yeah.
Another Suntory Jim Beam kind of.
I mean,
project.
They ain't lying. I mean, it has its own unique characters. This is not Booker's. It is definitely something completely different. But I feel like you can tell it's in the family. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of the same underlying attributes.
Yeah, and when it comes to Jim
come
Beam,
with Booker's.
honey, there it is. I got honey on here.
Yep, I can see that.
Like maybe clover honey. All right, so when it comes to Jim Beam, one of the reasons I like it is when it comes to the basic white label, you've got your citrus, maybe a little bit of apple, you got your caramel, and you got your self-drunk. It's great for it. It's great as a mixer if you want a whiskey and cola, whatever it is that you want to do. You can just mix it with ice if you want. It's great for a cheap old fashioned. You know, but and then we tried the we haven't even done the white label, but we did try the black label, and I have since switched from the white label being my mother's milk to the black label being my mother's milk. So that's kind of my go-to. That'd be my quote everyday sipper kind of thing. Even and the finish. Right. So back to it. And so it seems like every time that we get into anything involving Jim Beam, it's either several steps or it's a completely floor. Like it's completely different level.
Yeah.
Of how good it is. Like the notes that you know and love when it comes to Jim Beam are accentuated well and are represented well when you get away from the white label. So
one of the things,
maybe I might have to go. I've had the peach, but to me the peach, the apple, the vanilla, the flavored ones, those are gimmick whiskeys to me. So those don't really deserve much room on a podcast like this, even though we might do that. Had me tripping. I was watching the thing on your phone. It's like, what was that? But, all right, cool. But yeah, so when it comes to the finish, we didn't really talk too much about the finish. It's long.
It's definitely got
warm,
a long finish. Yeah, it's warm. A little bit of that Kentucky
sweet.
hug.
Yes.
Yep. It's not off-putting. It's not scalding. But
it's definitely not.
Just a nice little warm hug.
I like how it sticks with you. It doesn't just drop off and leave you hanging. Like, where'd you go?
Yeah, I think I was showing you a couple weeks ago. One of the things that I think is really cool about this bottle is you go out onto the Baker website and they have a section on the website. I think it's called Track the Journey or something, or the Journey of the Whiskey or something like that. And it asks for you to put in the bottle number. And so, as like I was saying earlier, and reading off the neck label information, this ID that's on here is what you put in there. So I typed that in there, and it queried their back-end database, whatever, and it pulled back, and it gave us the entire history and rundown of the barrel that this came out of. It told us the weather conditions throughout the life of it. It showed us actually where in the warehouse this barrel sat, the floor. It gave us a kind of a cutaway drawing of the rick house and all the floors. It told us what floor it was on, and then it kind of gave us a little pinpoint in the warehouse as to where it actually was located. Again, it told us throughout the course of the aging process, it told us what the hottest temperature was and the coldest temperature was, because all those things factor into everything about what we get in our glass.
Yeah, all those things definitely matter.
It talked a little bit about,
and that goes into my rating as far as that.
Yeah,
that is one of the considerations I took when it came to my bottle presentation.
I was going to say, to me, that adds to bottle presentation, and because it is connecting you with a physical bottle in hand with that online experience, and I just think it was just super cool. It digs in a little bit deeper, and gives you some of the Kentucky history, the regional climates, and then it kind of steps you through that. This one, they talk about the minimum of 7-year aging. This is 8 years 6 months, and so that's a year and a half longer than their minimum. So we'll get into some of the online comments a little bit later, but I remember seeing one comment about anything over 7 years or 8 years or something like that is where you want to be.
Yeah, that's where the comments were split, right at the 8-year mark.
Yeah, and then I think one of them went a step farther and said that they've seen them as high as 9, which kind of surprised me, because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if 7 years is your minimum baseline,
why would you leave it in there for much extra time?
Exactly, and I would think that most bottles are going to come out closer to the 7-year mark than not. I'm excited that this is 8.5, 8 years 6 months, but it's interesting because, again, having an age statement on something and having a brand that talks about their minimum age, and then with it being a single barrel, they're giving us all the information. They're giving us everything we need to know, including its age statement, which is 8 years 6 months.
It's got a punt like a remember Taco Bell ashtrays?
Yes.
That's for you old heads out there. You might remember Taco Bell used to be smoker friendly. My mom used to go in there and use the shit out of their
Pizza Hut
ashtrays. Pizza Hut had them too. Those were more of a dish style.
Need a little more?
No, thank you. So on the way over here tonight, I don't know if I want to bring this up now or later.
I do love this topper. Go for it.
I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait. Fuck it. I'll bring it up now. So on the way over here tonight, I had a little extra time, so I stopped by the, what's the name of the place? Used to be Stanley Station?
Vape World.
Vape World. Okay. And I went there because I had in mind the Jim Beam, speaking of Jim Beam, the Jim Beam Black bottle slash like rocks glass kit.
Yeah.
It comes with a bottle, a fifth of Jim Beam Black, and 2 little rocks glasses that say Jim Beam on the bottom of them. And so I wanted to send one of those to my son for his birthday. And so I went ahead and grabbed a bottle, and that will date.
What's his birthday?
It's on Tuesday.
Tuesday, all right.
Yeah. So that will date this, this video.
Sure.
For those of you that know him, or whatever. But
right.
He's not going to see this until well after. So I got him that and a bottle of that Breckenridge PX cask.
Oh, nice.
That I can't fucking stop talking about.
Yeah.
My God, that stuff is so good.
It is good. I'm gonna have to revisit that.
Yeah, I mean those boys in Colorado know what the fuck they're doing. It is so good, and so I fully expect him to love that. And I went on savortheburn.com/shop and I got him a 4-pack of those cocktail glasses.
Awesome.
Yeah, that we have in our affiliate links.
I love those glasses
in our shop.
Those glasses. Yeah, if I'm not using my Glencairn glass for a straight neat pour, and I'm not mixing up something that needs something a little fancier with some stemware, whether that be just the standard coupe or the Nick and Nora.
I like those Nick and Noras. I don't know why some people don't like them. It's like a coupe, but it's smaller. Up on the top, and it's still stemmed.
And because it's
classy
taller instead of wide,
Yeah.
it still holds roughly the same amount of liquid, so you can still have yourself a nice, tasty beverage.
Yeah, like to me, like the coupe is like a lovely lady in an evening gown. The Nick and Nora is the same lady, but like maybe in a mini skirt with heels.
All right.
Just had fishnets and crab rangoon. I'm your little slut. But yeah, so that's where I was. And so after that, my hunt went to... Stop. What?
Oh, no, I'm just... We're either Jim Beam or we're Crab Rangoon.
Right. Well, the fuck, dude. Give me.
And sometimes it's both.
Give me a pet possum. That's the trifecta, man, right there. That's the Grand Slam. And so after there, I went to Hy-Vee.
Okay.
And I'm a fan of the Hy-Vee liquor department. Like, they really do have a pretty wide variety of stuff. It's no Total Wine.
Are Hy-Vee over here?
Yeah, I went there
Yeah.
and I walked all around that store and I'm like, where is the fucking liquor department?
You're in Kansas, boy.
They have no liquor department. I was shocked that there's no liquor department.
You can find
in the
some
Hy-Vee.
beers. More beers now than you could a couple years ago.
I don't know where they had them hidden because there was.
Oh,
I didn't see it. All I went is around the outside.
they're in the They're over. If you go all the way to the far right, where all the freezer sections are.
Yeah.
One of those is their beer aisle. Yeah.
All right.
It makes no sense. They actually have no beer that's not in the refrigeration containers.
Well, maybe that's why your liquor stores over here have more and or better allocations. And
you go to the Prairie Village Hy-Vee, which is on the Kansas side of state line. They purposely built a standalone liquor store on the Missouri side of the state line. So when you're in the parking lot of Hy-Vee, diagonal across state line, across the cross street is the Hy-Vee liquor department.
Wow.
Because they wanted to have everything that they could offer. So
clearly disgruntled with the lack of a liquor department at your Hy-Vee up the hill here.
Yeah.
I was looking at the gas station across the street.
I was scratching my head there for a minute. I'm like,
right. It's like, really? What are you gonna lie to me now? Now you're gonna start lying to me?
Across the street is the Hy-Vee. Well, there's that. Actually, that liquor store in there is terrible.
It's really not great.
No, but right behind there is Justin's Liquor.
Oh. Okay.
That is a fantastic store.
All right. I guess I didn't realize there was one over there. I didn't go to that one, but I went to the gas station right across the street from Hy-Vee, and like you said, the little liquor store that they have. It's weird. It's like they have a gas station, and then over to the side,
the liquor store is
sectioned off. It's a little liquor store.
Yeah, the liquor store. That liquor store is not associated with the gas station.
Oh. Okay. So, I guess that explains that. Because I had no idea what the hell was going on there. But yeah, like you said, it's really not that great. They have your basic stuff. You know, I mean, they had some Riegers in there. Your Fireball, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Maker's Mark. And I did see, like, they had, like, the tiny little bottles of Maker's Mark. Couldn't be any taller than this. And they still had the red wax drip on the top. I was like, you know what? That's pretty fucking cool. Good on you, Maker's Mark, for making everything. All your branding across the board is all the same and so cool. And so, yeah, as I was going through there, I was looking at the tiny bottles, and I turned around. There's this great big humidor full of cigars.
Yep.
And if you watch Bruzel is a fan of different cigars, and I couldn't remember the names. And I like a cigar every once in a while, like maybe once, twice a year, kind of tops. Whenever I'm in the mood, and I'm just hardly ever in the mood for a cigar. These days anyway. So I got to looking through there and saw a bunch of names that I didn't recognize, some that I do. One of them I definitely recognized. Buffalo Trace.
Oh, yes.
Buffalo Trace cigars. Have you had one of those?
I have not had any, but so when we went bourbon hunting with my sister and Tim over Thanksgiving, one of the stores we went into, and we were talking whatever, and I had no idea, but Tim has been on the hunt for a Weller cigar.
Okay.
That is a cigar that the wrapper of it. There's a ton of cigars out there that are dipped in rum, and so the rum kind of soaks into the tobacco, and then as they dry it out there, it kind of contain a little bit of that. Apparently, Buffalo Trace, Weller. There's also an Eagle Rare cigar out there, and so anyway, he was looking more so. He wanted the cigar box.
Yeah.
And they had like one left, and the cigar box, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't sell the cigar boxes." And we just kept sitting there talking with the lady, and before we were done and ready to check out, she's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna let you have this." I think she charged him for the cigar, and he got to keep the box. We're all stoked and excited. We're in the car and we're going out there, and then I'm sitting in that shotgun. Faith's driving. Tim's in the back seat, and then I hear him. Or no, he was in the back seat, and then he realized the cigar wasn't even a Weller cigar.
Oh no!
It was just I don't remember
Something
what
that
it
fell
was.
in.
Yeah. But he didn't care because the box is what he was after. So
I like it. Well, yeah, I didn't know that about the Buffalo Trace tobacco leaves being dipped into the bourbon and then allowed to dry. But I thought it was really cool, so I ended up getting you one.
Oh hell!
Yeah, look at that Buffalo Trace.
Well, shit.
Yeah, don't think I didn't get myself one.
Ooh, that's nice, and actually, that feels really nice.
Yeah, solid.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So now you can say that you've had one, whenever it is that you decide to have one. I thought it was too unique to me.
There was a time that I had a really, really nice cherry wood humidor that
it smells good to me.
That smells really good. Yeah, I used to have a nice humidor with a high-end humidification system in there, and I've never been a big cigar smoker, but I used to keep a decent supply of cigars. So I could just have one, have everyone over. We're going to fire up the grill. We're going to barbecue. Early on, after I met Katie, we went to a strong ale festival in Westport.
Okay.
Which basically, everything that was there was like 12% and higher beers. But they also had a lot of other vendors that were out there, and there were cigar vendors out there. And so I've got pictures somewhere on Facebook that with a profile picture of Katie going. But yes, I used to enjoy cigars quite frequently, but it's been a minute since I've had one. So thank you, appreciate that.
Very cool. Glad you like it. So, do we want to get into what the people of Facebook had to say about it?
Let's do it.
Or do we want to talk about ours first?
No, let's see what Facebook has to say, and then we'll talk about us.
Excuse me while I fire up the Facebook machine. Hopping on social media while we're busy doing the podcast here. So I'll go. The first photo I posted was in Whiskey Tribe. So if you're in the Whiskey Tribe Facebook group, you'll see us pretty much post in here about once a week. And this time, posted a picture of this bottle that Mr. W2 sent to me. I said, gonna try Baker's tonight and see what's what. Anybody here had it? Thoughts? Joaquin says, I enjoy it. It has sentimental value for me, though, so I am likely biased. And I tried to get him to tell his story, but he didn't bite. He didn't seem to want to tell the story out yet. Anyway, John says one of my favorites. Jonathan. Not me, another one. There are more than one of us out there. He says, my favorite bourbon as a Scotch head. So he's a fan of Scotch, and this is his favorite bourbon, which...
That's interesting because I'm not picking up really any smoke.
As a Scotch lover,
on that, and
this is really sweet. You know, people are going to like what they're going to like.
I love Scotch, and I love this, but...
Yeah, it's not Scotchy at all. Not to me, anyway.
Yeah.
David says, I really like it. Paul says, love it. Let's see here. Garrett says, good stuff from Beam. Goes vastly underrated compared to Knob Creek's. Always check the neck label for older age statements, which we did, as I've seen them at almost 9 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this was 8.5. So this is kind of almost 9 years, too. Travis says, good stuff. Jordan says, I enjoy it. Sean says, I like its Big Brother Booker's better. For the decadent caramel notes, but I love Baker's for the integrated spice and balance. It's got a little bit of spice, but the balance, I would agree with that. It's every tasting note you get, nothing's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Michael says, I really like my 7-year, 10-month Baker's 7. Solid mouthfeel, nice palate, really good finish. And Ed says, I like it.
See, 7 years, 10 months makes sense to me. You know, the minimum 7 years.
Yeah.
And then this one's 7 years, 10 months. That's just shy of 8 years. That still makes sense to me. This being an 8 years, 6 months, that's leaving it in the barrel a considerable more time.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't mad at it.
No, there's nothing to be mad at when it comes to this. There's nothing wrong with this bourbon at all. And I posted the same thing over in the Kansas City Whiskey Guild because we're Kansas City here. And we love our Kansas City. And there's a Facebook group for knuckleheads just like us that love us some whiskey. Mark, this is the only negative comment. And it's really not negative, but it's just his own personal opinion. Mark says, didn't do much for me. That's all. That's fine.
Maybe he likes white label.
That's okay. Yeah, maybe he just loves that white label. Aaron says, I like it. Easy sipper. But getting one over 8 years seems to be a marked difference in taste than under, in my opinion. And just to get some clarity, I said, is it better to you over 8 years? And he says, definitely.
Well, we have nothing to really compare to, but I'll say 8.5 years seems to be pretty damn good.
Yep, hit it right square in the sweet spot.
And for those that are wondering, if you have not heard, we've talked about it before, but yes.
After it's empty?
Yes, my glass is empty, but the great thing about these Glencairn glasses is that tulip shape really concentrates the nose and the aromas of there. And even after you're done drinking it,
it still has something to offer.
There is lots and lots. And a lot of times we've gone back and nosed the empty glass and found a few things we didn't find the first go around.
Yeah, particularly oats, cereal oats, like oatmeal or cream of wheat, malto-meal if you don't believe in cream of wheat. I'm not going to argue that it's the same thing, because to me it is, and to Jennifer it's not, and I don't want to fucking hear it. But yeah, these Glencairn glasses are great for that. They're just great for tasting, period. Not tasting,
period. No, I love them. I mean, it's wild because, I've always enjoyed my good bourbons neat. And I used to just grab a rocks glass. I've got a set of square-bottomed glasses that my daughter and Katie got me for Christmas one year. They've got my name etched on them. They're super cool. And I just pour a little bit in there and, you sip on it. And it's great. I finally broke down and bought a set of these Glencairn glasses because you see everyone drinking
Everybody uses
whiskey.
them, and we're going to start the podcast, and we might as well get the industry.
We got to have them.
Yeah.
Everyone's got them.
We gotta do what everybody else is doing. And the first time we used them,
it's night and day. I mean, it really is. It's not a gimmick. It's not just something to look cool or you know, pinkies up. Blah.
Yeah.
It's there really is.
I like pinkies up.
I mean, I'm not a.
We got some decent pinkies,
and we got some good bourbon.
Yeah. See, that's the pinky of a married man. This is a not so married man.
But
family show.
But the shape of it, the tulip, and then as it curves back in, it then starts to kind of curve back out and open back up.
It's in this bulb of the tulip where the smell blooms.
It really, really concentrates the nose on those, and it's just it's been a great experience.
It doesn't have to be a Glencairn glass, but if it's a tulip shape, there are others out there.
Sure,
often imitated, never duplicated. Yep. But there are others that have a tulip shape to them.
And as we've talked about before, the Glencairn glasses, a lot of other ones do not.
They don't
have that nice, crisp, clean ring to them.
And if you do that with some of those others, that will crack the damn glass.
Yeah.
Because we smack these a little harder than I think we mean to, like even that time. But there you can get it. We would suggest that if you don't get Glencairn glasses, get them at least to have a bit of a tulip shape to them. That way you get the full notes of everything it is that you're trying to enjoy.
What I like about these is they have a nice heavy, smaller bottom to them that just makes it nice to hold on to.
It's easy to hold on to.
I mean, you can really kind of, whether it's like this.
And while you're holding on to it, you're not going to heat up this part of it.
Right.
By hanging on to it.
Yep.
So it's like the stem on a wine glass kind of thing. But, you
can't beat it.
It's like a sore dick. You just can't beat it. But, if you do want some of these, definitely check it out. SavorTheBurn.com. Drop the menu down, click shop, and we have them in there. We have a 2-pack. In our Amazon affiliate links.
We've got a 2-pack in a gift box. We've got the 4-pack.
In the gift box, yeah.
And then we also have a 2-pack that's in a travel tube. It's in a leather-bound travel tube, which I have not. I haven't purchased it myself yet, but I put it in the car in the store because I'm planning on getting that at some point.
Yeah.
I already have. I think I'm up to 7 or 8 glasses.
I like the 2-glass gift box because it's in a box.
Perfect.
It's like velvet or a silk lined. They just sit right in that box. It's
and why are there 2 in there?
Form fitted for you and a friend, you and a loved one. You and a fellow whiskey enthusiast. It's this stuff. Like Bruzel said, the whiskey business is a relationship business.
It is.
So I'm You enjoy these things with your friends, with your family. And speaking of our friends, we'll wrap up the Kansas City Whiskey Guild comments here. Ben says, I'm a fan. I believe him. Thomas says, lots of people like it. The one I just finished wasn't for me. It just tasted like oak. I'll probably try it again in a few years. Okay. That is interesting. So maybe he had one of the
younger one?
The younger ones, yeah. Because Jim Beam, the younger it is, the more it tastes like oak, to me anyway. Let's see here. Bert, one of my faves as a daily sipper, agreed that the 8 years and up are a bit better than the 7-year. Been seeing them around a lot more lately than last year, so that's definitely a good thing for me. Because if I see it and it's anywhere near MSRP, it's mine. Nick says, the last one I tried was more towards a 9-year. Oak forward, but followed by a little proof punch, brown sugar, pepper, and caramel. We got the pepper, we got the caramel. There was a little bit of a proof punch. We didn't really talk about it, but what do you expect? It's 107 proof. And Chris said, had a rough finish, but IDKK. I don't know. Had a rough... Thanks, Chris. So, so I don't know. Maybe the jury's out for some of these folks. But for me, I'm a fan. Yeah. I gave it a pretty high score.
So I was up at Total Wine today, picking up some Amaro, and I found myself in the wrong aisle. which is why I couldn't find what I was looking for.
That happens to me every
You know,
store I
well,
go.
I've been in there enough that I feel like I know where things are, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's on this aisle somewhere. I know it is, and so finally, one of the guys that works there saw me kind of wandering around. He's like, "Hey, you need help with anything?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I need this," because I had a picture of it pulled up on my phone. I scanned the aisle twice already and could not find it, so I'm like, "Fuck this!" So I went online. I pulled open a picture of what the bottle looks like that I was looking for, so I would have that mental image, and so that way I could scan and look for what it looks like. And he's like, "Oh, that's going to be over here on this other aisle." Of course it is. That's why I couldn't find it. And as soon as we rounded the corner, I realized, yep, I was one aisle off. And so we get over there, and so he's like, "Oh, are you doing a Midnight Manhattan?" I'm like, "Actually, we are doing a Midnight Manhattan."
So he knew.
He's like, "Awesome." He's like, "Can I recommend a whiskey?" I'm like, "Well, we already have one planned for this particular cocktail, but I'm always all ears." He's like, "Great." So we walked over to the little tasting stand, and they've got the little thimbleful Dixie cups, and we tried the Wilcott.
Wilcott, okay.
Which is a offering that is distilled by Barton, which makes 1792.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. It was a 20, I should have picked it up because it was like a $27 bottle.
All right.
So I've kind of mentally noted it, and I might have to go back and visit it. But anyway, I was like, yeah, my buddy and I, we've got this podcast on bourbons, and so we're doing the Bakers tonight, and I'm doing the Midnight Manhattan for our cocktail. He's like, what podcast? I was like, Savor the Burn, .com. And he's like, I know you guys.
Cool.
I'm one of the admins on the Casey Whiskey Guild group.
Okay.
Tanner.
Yeah.
So Tanner,
Yeah. Shout out.
good to meet you.
He told me that you were a cool guy, and I didn't believe him because I haven't met you. Totally kidding, but yeah, very cool. I'm glad that one of us got to meet one of the admins on the Whiskey Guild. Hopefully, you guys don't get too upset with me dropping links in there from the podcast.
Yeah, no,
we try not to make it self-serving when that kind of thing happens. We really do want to help people find a bourbon that they will enjoy and share.
So I mean, it was cool because he recognized it from us posting in the Whiskey Guild. So shout out to the other Casey peeps.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. That's really cool. So enough about other people and what they think.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think. What'd you give it on the nose?
I gave it a solid 4.
Solid 4.
Solid 4.
You can't get past the Jim Beam, can you?
Well,
You can't get past the Jim Beam.
no. Maybe.
Or the Booker Beam. This isn't even Jim. It's just his brother Booker.
All right. No, I maybe should have rated it a little bit higher because I keep going back to this glass and there's nothing in this glass, but the glass smells wonderful.
Yeah. It's an empty glass and it
there
smells
is
amazing.
so much going on with that. I underscored the nose, but it's got everything I want in there.
Yeah.
4 is way higher than average.
Definitely. Definitely. If since we do everything on a 1 to 5 rating when it comes to nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation.
It's all the usual suspects. It's everything that I want in a great bourbon nose.
Yeah.
I gave it a 4.
Well, I gave it a 4.5. So I'm not going to argue. It really does no good to argue. But to me, it was that much better. I was very happy with it. I was actually kind of surprised. Like when you go back and you watch my first nose, I was like, wow, that's really something good. So that's why I gave it a 4.5.
All right.
How about the palate?
I gave the palate a 4.5.
I hit it a 4.5 as well. There's just zero wrong when it comes to this bottle.
And honestly,
at 8.5 years.
With everything else going on with this, the peppery spice, the baking spice.
I didn't expect that because it didn't show up anywhere on the nose.
Right. That mixed in with the vanilla and the toffee and everything.
Yeah.
If this proof was any higher or any lower, I think it would. I think it would not be balanced. It would have missed the mark.
Yeah.
The 107 proof is balanced perfectly with that palate.
Yeah, I think you're right. There'd just be way too much, ethanol in there if it were,
Yep.
133. Like
There really is no ethanol to me. It's got a little
For
bit.
me, it showed up on the palate.
Okay. I didn't really get a whole lot of it. I could taste a little bit of proof,
Yeah.
but it didn't present itself to me as that ethanol alcohol
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah. It didn't overwhelm me at all. Because I expected it to be a higher proof. To me, a higher proof is anything over 90. Anything 90 or under is kind of tavern strength. As far as I think everybody industry standard is concerned. But yeah, this is at 107 proof. It's got the bite that you would expect as far as alcohol proof goes, and it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't really distracting when it comes to any of the other notes. So when they say balanced, that's what I get at it. It really was to me a fairly balanced
agreed
thing. And the proof, the proof is gone, and you're just warm with this long, like I wrote down here, a long, warm, sweet, peppery vanilla oak, a trailing oak finish on it. I was very happy with it, and I gave it a 4.5. What did you give it over here?
on the finish.
Yeah.
4.5.
Wow. All right. There we go. So we've got a couple of points where if you hear voices, there's a girl under the stairs. She was here when they moved in. If you've seen Stir of Echoes, then you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, there's no girl under the stairs.
I hope not.
I hope not too. You got problems, buddy. Bottle presentation.
Moving tonight.
What'd you give it?
I gave it 4.5.
Moving tonight. I just got that. You gave it a 4.5. Okay.
Yeah, it's a simple bottle. It's not in the wooden box, the Bookers.
I've never seen a bottle shaped like that, though.
It's not exactly. It's a little taller and more slender than your standard. Like you refer to Rebel
Yeah.
Yell quite a bit, but the Lead Slingers or the Iron Smoke. It's a little shorter, a little bit wider. This is a little bit more slender. It's still got the rounded shoulder on it.
Yep.
The topper on this, I think, is just awesome. I
the
love
lip of the bottle.
It's got a nice lip to it. This is aluminum with a little bit of an inset in little piece
It's got
there.
a faux peel tab kind of thing on the side of it.
Yeah,
there.
it's like a barrel ring.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
That's exactly what it is.
That did not even
right there.
That didn't even register.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I should rate this higher.
And then
I can't though.
You pointed out, and I fully agree. Part of the presentation is discovering that online I can put in the serial number of this bottle and get all the history of this bottle from the time it was put in the barrel, put in the warehouse, left alone, hot summers, cold winters, all up and down, and then finally dumped. It's single barrel, so it's one barrel at a time is dumped, bottled, dumped, bottled.
And probably proofed down.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it's all at
somewhere there
107.
it's all proof, so it's nice and even 107. And I gave it 4.5.
Yeah. I gave it a 5. You got the collector's tops. You got a bottle that's super unique. It's not as unique as Crown Royal.
This time I was
You
expecting...
take the labels off of a Crown Royal bottle, you're going to know it's Crown Royal.
it is.
But, no, it's not like we talked about Booker's now 15 times. It doesn't come in a wooden box with a acrylic, slide off door with a neck cradle and wax dip and a ribbon pull string with a written down history tag as far as what happened to it during its life and maturation and what barrel number. But all that information is online. All you got to do is type that in, like you said.
Yeah.
But
seeing from your
me,
comment,
it's
I
so
was
unique.
I was fully prepared for you to be underscoring this.
Underscoring it?
And here you are giving it a 5.
So to some it might be an overscore. To
No.
W2 definitely at least half a point, but I was very happy with this bottle.
And it's a great label.
Yeah.
It's a black label, silver ink with just a single barrel is in red, which makes it pop and jump out.
It makes it
It's got the.
If you're a fan of Thirsty Whale, that's where that came from.
Love Thirsty Whale. It's got the signature of Baker Beam on it. I love this little oval with the capital B in the middle of it.
I'm not crazy about composite corks. I don't know why. I get it. They last longer. They have better seal protection. All the things that you want in a cork.
Sure.
It's just not. It's not natural. It's just not natural. Oh my goodness. So what'd your final score end up being?
8 3/4.
8 3/4. So how we do this is we rate it all 1 to 5. Nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation. 1 to 5, and then we add all that up. We divide that by 2, and that's how we end up with our total, our final rating score. And so W2 here came up with an 8 3/4. I came up with a 9 1/4.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're a half point off from one another. Yeah.
Jim Beam.
Jim Beam.
In the 9s.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't have it written down here, but yeah, this is to me, this is an incredible bottle coming from the Jim Beam family, from the brother of Jim. We have Mr. Baker and his offering coming in at 107 proof. This is very shareable. If it ends up
grandnephew to Jim Beam himself.
Okay, so I thought it was his brother. Okay, so grandnephew. Wow.
Grandnephew.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah, so I'm totally stoked. So this is a great candidate for sharing with your friends and loved ones. Try it in a cocktail. If you can find it at MSRP, this is a great bottle. What did you say? Second Market? You could find this for?
Yeah.
If you find it?
Yeah, if you Google Baker's 7, 150, 180 is what I've seen it for
I'd
online.
easily pay 100 for it.
So 64 is MSRP. They have another offering that I really hope to someday stumble upon. It's their Baker 13.
All right.
It jumps up in price a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you sent me an article on...
I think the MSRP on that is like 120.
You sent me an article on 15-year bourbons, like kind of being the cutoff point to where after 15 years they get kind of wonky. But I haven't read that article yet.
Yeah,
no, I will. By the time this comes out, I will have read it. I was reading the other one that you sent me, and I haven't finished it yet. Probably about halfway through it. Don't know why I even brought that up. So, do you have any final thoughts?
This is a great pour.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to spending some time with this one.
I would put this right up there with that Breckenridge PX cask that I really love. The Antique 107 is going to be tough to beat anywhere.
I put this up there with the Bookers or the Stag.
Booker's, Stag.
And this has something just a little bit different to offer.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely. If you do get a chance to try it, let us know what you think. Drop us a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or send us an email, info@savortheburn.com. You can email W2 at savortheburn.com and email me, Jonathan, at savortheburn.com. Our emails are wide open and ready to handle your bullshit. So definitely send us to us. And if you have a suggestion as to something that you haven't heard us talk about or haven't seen us talk about, we have a lot in the liquor cabinet on savortheburn.com. You can check out what we already have done, and you can collect our thoughts on those things. But if you don't see what you would like us to try, let us know. Send us an email, leave us a comment, whatever it takes. But always remember, dear Savor the Burn enthusiast, no matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, never forget to keep on
burning.